that report, Repositioning Local Government Public Finances. Professor Daniel Plaatjies rejoins us once again from our Durban studios, and thanks for staying with us, Professor. Now, the usual conversation relates to money municipalities owe other parties, but your report is talking about the converse. How must municipalities deal with debt owed to it?
Yes, indeed. There are two sets to it. Like you've been saying correctly, is that municipalities, municipalities own money to a number of institutions such as ESCOM. If I may, can you just speak to that part to it? Because what happens is that a ESCOM will send the municipality an account, and if a municipality is unable to pay its debt to ESCOM, they're going to sign a debt repayment agreement. And what's the problem with that is that many of the municipalities sign debt repayment agreements knowingly that they are unable to repay those debts. There's, for instance, a municipality in one province that has got a deficit budget of 1.8 billion rands. And it needs to pay ESCOM quite a substantive amount of money to the tune of 2 and 3 billion, to the tune of 2 and 300 million rands. Now, if you only collect around 700 to 800 million rands, how is it possible that you will ever repay those debt to ESCOM? And part of that debt is also historic debt that those municipalities have as a result of the amalgamation processes, the carry-through effect of loans and other liabilities that comes through that amalgamation. So there's a compounded debt that municipality sits with, and that in itself requires a new look at how the financing and fiscal framework is going to help municipalities to get out of a debt trap. That's the one aspect of it. The other aspect of the debt is that the debt that ESCOM owns to that municipalities own that's owned to municipalities. What we found is that many of those debts are in areas where communities are unable to repay those debts to ESCOM. So there's a degree of intensity that plays into that space, the level of poverty. The second part of it is that when municipalities charges its own communities, you find municipalities charging ESCOM far less, charging the citizens far less than what they pay, what they purchase the electricity from ESCOM from. So you'll get, for instance, a classic example might be that you pay 14 rand per kilowatt for the electricity, but you're only charging your customers in the municipality 10 rand. So you're never going to make it because you're selling the electricity below the price. Then there's debt owned by government institutions, whereas provincial departments, national departments, state-owning companies, etc. And municipalities have found it quite difficult to get those payments back from those institutions. Our advice is so simple. If government institutions can't pay their debt back to municipalities, whereas for water, property rates, electricity, etc., municipality must just cut the services from them. And in that way, municipality will get their money back from government departments. It's a simple decision that needs to be made by the mayor of a particular municipality and the council. And in that way, municipalities will get their monies back. So there's a number of interventions that needs to be made. So there's no new money coming into the system for municipalities because of our low growth, because of the tax base in municipalities not be sufficient. In fact, some municipalities are economically and fiscally unviable. So as a result, municipalities need to find new ways of chasing debt within their municipalities. And a quick one on what municipalities, the huge sums of money that municipalities own to ESCOM. Studies have shown that municipalities don't have the requisite capacity in their municipalities to adequately manage the electricity supply from ESCOM to them and managing the distribution of electricity to their customers. Why am I raising that point? A municipality will will agree with Eskom to purchase an X amount of electricity for a particular month. When you get close to that amount, to the amount utilized, municipalities don't have somebody that monitors the system so that the notified demand, meaning the money, the amount of electricity purchased, if you get close to that, a municipality is supposed to trip the switch, even if it's just for an hour. Because if they don't trip that switch that supplies the electricity, they will pay a penalty to Eskom. And that penalty is quite huge. So you don't have somebody in certain municipalities, other than the big metros, Johannesburg, Cape Town, and other big metros know exactly how to do this. But in the smaller municipality, you don't have that person to do it. So you need to have somebody that's almost equal to the person that sits in an Eskom electricity distribution unit that will be able to manage the supply of electricity to that municipality. That's how a municipality will be able to manage its debt to Eskom and payment downwards. And that's critical, that needs to be done. So there's no new taxes coming into the system in terms of new collections made. Hence, our recommendation is explore other taxes like property taxes and tourism levies within the municipality.
It sounds like a really well thought through and really well considered report, but once again, as I said at the beginning of our conversation, worries about implementation. You also have thoughts about how to resolve the e-tolls impasse. Tell us about that. Well,
the e-toll conversation is quite interesting, having the Premier of Gauteng in particular, because it's about the Gauteng roads improvement, having a particular view on it. The Minister of Transport having another view on the matter, and the Minister of Finance having another view on the matter. Here's the simple story. To be able for SANRAL to improve those roads, SANRAL needed a fiscal injection, needed to use some monies to be able to do that. So what did SANRAL do? SANRAL approached the national government, especially the National Treasury, to get a government guarantee. Now, government guarantee provides them with the capabilities, a facility to go out to the financial markets and financial institutions and the banks to go borrow money. They borrow the money, and then they use those billions of rands to improve the roads in Gauteng. Now, the simple rule is if you make a loan, you need to repay it. There's no other option. So the pay-as-you-go option is probably one way of looking at it. Finding new monies within government, which we don't have, given the fiscal injections that have been given to Eskom to avoid a cross-default on loans being repaid. Whichever way you go for dealing with this e-toll matter, you have to repay the loan.
Professor
There's
Plaatjies,
no way out of it.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
And you can either pay it through government stepping into it,
yeah,
or through the pay-as-you-go. At the end of the day, it's still citizens that are going to pay for the loans.
It's a conversation we can continue on another day, but as it happens with television, time constraints sometimes don't allow us to have a full conversation. But thank you so much for making the time this morning. Professor Daniel Plaatjies is the chairperson of the Financial Fiscal Commission. He was unpacking the Auditor General's report and his report, the repositioning local government political finances and how they hope to restructure how municipalities are financed. As I said, a conversation to continue for another time.